In this video, I try to scout some good fishing locations in an area that I've been exploring. This is the Navionics Chartviewer, which is free online, and I'm using it to look at contour lines. Each contour line is a certain depth of water, and what I'm looking for are where contour lines are grouped together, because that shows a quick incline between the deep water and the shallow water. And my theory is that the large stripers or large bluefish like to pin their bait or hunt for their bait along those inclines, ledges, or walls. So on this kayak fishing trip, I've got a lure on one fishing rod and then a circle hook on the other fishing rod, which I'm going to be using with chunks of bait that I brought with me. It's early in the morning and it's low tide. I haven't had much luck at low tide, but I'm going to cast out my lure anyways and troll it behind me as I paddle between Preston Beach and Devereux Beach in the Marblehead area. As I paddle on this kayak fishing trip, I'm trying to identify areas along the shoreline which are rocky, which have birds sitting in them, because those are good indications that there might be fish nearby. But I'm also trying to understand what the underwater structure looks like underneath me. I've looked at the Navionics Chartviewer, but I'm also looking at how the waves crest to my left and to my right. Sometimes when waves come in from the deep ocean, as they approach that underwater structure that becomes shallower, you'll see the waves crest quite a distance from the shoreline, and that's a good indication that there might be structure there, and it might be an interesting place to fish. To understand what the depth of the water is, I'm also looking at the color of the water. If I'm using my sabiki rig, I might try to count the number of seconds it takes for the weight to hit the bottom. And on a nice clear day like this, where the water is low and it's clear and calm, I'm also looking at what the underwater looks like, whether it's sandy or whether there's seaweed. That kind of information will be helpful on future fishing trips. For all my fishing trips, I try to note and remember where I've caught my bait and where I've caught the large stripers. I try to keep records of those mentally, but also track them in a map online. And when you catch fish, whether it's bait fish or large fish, there usually is a reason that you're catching fish in that area. And as I learn more about the area that I've been fishing in, there's usually underwater structure that's attract those stripers or bluefish. So now I've reached Devereux Beach, which was my target. I've brought in my lure, didn't catch anything, and on the way back I start to use the circle hook, and I've cut up the bait into several chunks, and I try to troll these chunks on the way back alongside the same shoreline from Devereux Beach back to Preston Beach. I didn't catch anything on this trip, but it was a good scouting trip, and what I'll do is I'll attach a link to a video where I did catch a fish right along this shoreline at the end of this video. Here I am now back at Preston Beach. I hope you like this. Please click like, comment, or subscribe. I've got other kayak fishing videos on my channel.